Good morning, dear students. Myself, Dr. Neha Srivastava, Assistant Professor, School of Agriculture. Today we will discuss on the topic that is concept of self-pollinated crop. This is the part of your unit 2nd of subject crop improvement 1 GPP 311. So let's start. These are the outlines which we will discuss in this lecture. That is what is the importance of your topic, that is concept of self-pollinated crop. Next we will discuss that what is pollination, and its types. It's a very basic thing. After that, actually we are discussing on the self-pollinated crop. So we will discuss that what is self-pollination, its types, and what are the mechanisms that promote self-pollination. After that its advantages and disadvantages. Then learning outcomes and differences. Okay, so your topic is concept of self-pollinated crop. Before we have studied about the first, that was of your unit first part, that is plant genetic resource, and about quantitative and qualitative traits. Now we will study that how these are, what is means for genetic improvement, what are the essential, means what we have to know. So we will study about the mode of reproduction and pollination. That is mode of reproduction you have already studied in earlier semester. So in this course we will study about pollination, that what is pollination and its types. So in this lecture we will discuss about the self-pollinated crop, and after that cross-pollinated crop. So okay, so why we have choose this topic and why you have to study this topic? For genetic improvement, actually the crop species need, or we can say that for genetic improvement, crop species, it's essential for the plant breeder to have a knowledge about modes of reproduction. Genetic improvement, we have to improve the crop species genetically. So it's very basic thing that we have to know that what is the mode of reproduction and how it's pollinate. It's self-pollinated or cross-pollinated, and if self-pollinated, then why it is self-pollinated. So we have to study these all things before starting the crop improvement. This, now you can see that your subject name is, course name is crop improvement 1. So for crop improvement, now you can understand that what are the basic things you have to know. The first thing that you require seed material. So we have studied about the plant genetic resource. After that you should know about the traits, that what are the traits in any plant species. Either it is quantitative or qualitative. Then what is quantitative and qualitative? So we have studied all those things. Now the reproduction and pollination, it's also a basic thing which you should know. After that only you can start your breeding program. So because if you have suddenly, if anyone, I will give you to make a process of any 2 crop of rice, so you should know that rice is either self-pollinated or cross-pollinated. And if it is self-pollinated, then why? What is the reason why it is self-pollinated? So we will study all these things. That's why the topic is concept of self-pollinated crops. So these aspects means, about when you will study about the reproduction and pollination, then these aspects will help you to deciding the breeding procedure. Because for self-pollinated crop and other breeding procedure are there. For cross-pollinated crop, other breeding procedure are there. So I think you have studied also something, some breeding procedure. If not, then I will tell you. But this breeding procedure, that on which breeding what breeding method you are going to apply for crop improvement, for that you have to first know either it is self-pollinated or cross-pollinated, and why it is self or cross. So this topic is because of that reason only, that you have to, before starting the breeding program, you should know that what is pollination and modes of reproduction. So it is important for us to know the concept of pollination, either it is self or cross. Okay. In the topic concept of self pollination, I know that everyone, you all know that what is self means. Self means, we are talking if self, it is not cross, or it is not, we are talking in if pollination, if male and female, if I am using the word pollination, then what is pollination? The process by which pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma. In this line, I think many of you know that what is anther and stigma, and many of you also don't know that what is that. So anther is the means the process by which pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma is referred to as pollination. It is a transfer means it is a process by which pollen grains which are present in the anther, it is transferred from anther to the stigma. Okay, that is called pollination, and it's of two types. I will tell you that what is that two types. That is self pollination, which we can say that autogamy. Gamy means marriage, auto means self. So if marriage is happening between self, means inside, if male and female part is present in the same flower, then we can say that it is self pollination. Allogamy. Allo means different or other. Gamy means marriage. And if marriage is happening between other plants, between two plants, and if it is within the plant, then it is auto. If one plant is there, then it is auto, and if it is between two plants, then it is cross pollination. Okay. I will tell you. See, this flower is very clear structure of flower. Female, what is the female structure? Any flower has male and female part. Okay. Some flower contain both female and female in this one flower only, and it is, if it is different, then only we can say that it cross pollination is taking place. See, in this flower, male and female both structure are present in the same flower. It's just an example, and it's very clear. See, what is the female structure? That is carpel, stigma, style, ovary, ovule. These are the female structure. And what is the male structure? Anther, stamen, and filament. These are the male structure. These we need for pollination. These all things, these two things flower needs for pollination. Okay, so in the definition, what it is written? The process by which pollen grains are transferred. See, the process by which pollen grains in anther. This is anther. In anther, many pollen grains are there. Either it is in dust form, very small. So many inside the anther, and this anther will burst due to heat or any other reason. So if the pollen grain are transferred from anther, okay, from anther to the stigma. Where is the stigma? It's female. See, this is the stigma. When this pollen grain will fall on the stigma, then pollination take place. Okay, so this is called pollination. This is the structure of one flower in which both male and female part are there. I just want to tell that what is anther, what is stigma. I am taking the name that anther and stigma, and in this many other part are also there, that is petal, sepal. It's very basic, I know you all know very well. Sepal, petal, receptacle, pedicle, cell, all stamen is androecium. Means all stamen is androecium. Stamen it's written na. So stamen means anther and filament together it's called stamen is androecium total. All carpels where it is carpel means stigma, style, ovary, ovule. So female structure all carpels it's called gynoecium. Okay, all petals means if petals all together we will call is corolla. You know very well. All sepals it's called calyx. So this is a just about the flower which you should know very well. So this is the flower in which male and female both part are there. So in this which pollination will take place? Self pollination, because the male and female part are present in the only one flower. So it's in the same flower. So it is self pollination because it didn't need other flower for pollination. Okay. Now types of pollination. Self and cross I told you. Then in self pollination one is autogamy. I have told you earlier also autogamy, and another is geitonogamy. Means in the same plant if pollination it means different flowers of the same plant. Geitonogamy means different flowers of the same plant. If pollination takes place like that, then it is geitonogamy. Plant is same but flowers are on the different place, so that is called geitonogamy. Okay, and autogamy means same flower in the same. This is the autogamy because in this male and female part are in the same flower. But if the geitonogamy means plant is same but flower is on the different position, different flower of the same plant. Okay, now and cross pollinated it is also known as xenogamy. Cross pollination needs some agent because it's not possible to pollinate without any agent because it's in different plant. It's not on the same plant, it's in different plant. So it needs some agent. So some biotic agent and some abiotic agents are there. Abiotic agents, that is wind and water. Okay, and if it is through wind then it's called anemophily. And if it is through water then it is called hydrophily. And some biotic agents are also there. If it is through insects then entomophily. If it is through bat then chiropetrophily. If it is through snails then manicophily. If it is through birds then ornithophily. So about cross pollination we will study in next lecture, but today we will study about the self pollination. Okay, now self pollination, you know that autogamy transfer of pollen grains. After autogamy one dash is there. It's a transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of same flower is known as autogamy or self pollination. Okay, it's clear. Next is autogamy is the closest form of inbreeding. Autogamy means if breeding means if pollination is taking place within the same flower, then it is the closest form of inbreeding. What we do in breeding? We make the inbreeding is in what we do in breeding? We pollinate the same flower, and that's why it leads to homozygosity. Such species develop homozygous balance. That's why self-pollinated crops are homozygous and do not exhibit significant inbreeding depression. Okay, so these are the some symptoms of self-pollination crop. Now we are talking about self-pollination. So what are the some mechanism which promote self-pollination? What are the mechanism? If flower is bisexual, then what are the mechanism? If it is bisexual, if it is homogamy, if it is cleistogamy or chesmogamy, and position of anther. So these are the 5 points which promote self-pollination. If the structure of flower or if flowers are having these 5, due to these 5 reasons only flowers are able to do self-pollination. Bisexuality means, see, presence of male and female organs in the same flower. Bisexuality means if the male and female organ, what are the male and female organ? That is anther and stigma are present in the same flower, then it is known as bisexuality. And if it is only male part is in one flower and female part is in another flower, then it is unisexuality. Okay, but here male and female is in the one flower, then it is bisexuality. So if male and female part is in the same flower, then definitely flower will go for self pollination. No chance is there for cross pollination. So if it's like that, then it will go for self pollination. The presence of bisexual flower is a must for self pollination. Yes, sure, for self pollination bisexuality is necessary. And all the self pollinated plants have hermaphrodite flower. See, here example is given that bisexual flower and unisexual flower. Bisexual, it is called complete flower, and if it is unisexual, then it is incomplete, because in this either male part will be there or female part will be there. If one is present, then another will be absent. In this, what is present? You can see that in this stigma is present. Stigma means is present, means female part is present but male part is absent. So it is called unisexual flower. It is pistillate, we can say. Okay, so this is the bisexual which promote the self pollination. Okay, many examples are there. Just I will ask you, just search after seeing this video that what are the example of bisexuality, some crop name. Then homogamy. Okay, homogamy. If homo means same, okay, gamy means marriage. So if male and female are part of any flower will mature at the same time, means no difference is there. If they will mature at the same time, then definitely it will promote self pollination. See, it is written that another anther and stigma of the bisexual flower should be bisexual. If the anther and stigma of the bisexual flower of some plants mature at the same time, it's called homogamy, because due to that reason they brought close to each other by growth, bending and folding to ensure self pollination. Okay, and the example of this homogamy is very famous name, that is Mirabilis. Okay, which called Mirabilis jalapa is there something. Please confirm the full name. 4 o'clock flower, it's called 4 o'clock flower. Potato and sunflower is also there. So it is example of homogamy, because the anther and stigma means the male and female part of the flower mature at the same time. Okay, that's why it's called homogamy. Then cleistogamy. What is cleistogamy or automatic self pollination? Okay, describes the trait of certain plants to propagate by using non-opening self pollination flower. In cleistogamy, flower doesn't open, it's closed, means after pollination also it's not open. That's why it's called cleistogamy, automatic self pollination, means definitely it will go for self pollination, because it's not opening, then there is no chance for that another anther or pollen will come on the stigma of that flower. So definitely it will go for self pollination. That's why it is called automatic self pollination or cleistogamy, means the plants which are not opening after pollination also. And these takes place, some example, if pea flower is there, in this you can see that the male and female part are there, ovules it is there, and anther, everything, stigma is there, and it's closed. I will show you if possible the flower of pea that is totally closed. So And some cleistogamy example are the peanuts, peas and beans. These are some examples. Okay, many leguminous crops are flowers are cleistogamous. It's totally close. So it's called, that's why self-fertilize and produce true breeding generation, because there's no chance of any other anther or pollen to pollinate. Okay, next is chesmogamy. Chesmogamy means opening of flower after the completion of flower pollination. Means in chesmogamy flowers opens but after pollination. So if pollination is over, then no problem, flower can open. Then also self-pollination is sure, but little bit chance is there. Only 5% or 4-5% is there for cross-pollination. 4-5 means it's very little chance, means less chance is there for cross-pollination. But 95% is self-pollination. So its example is rice. And after pollination, you can see the flowers open and the anther and means is there, this pollen anther is come out after pollination. Okay, so this is, in this anther no pollen grains are there, and ovary is inside the flower only. Flowers open and stigma means anther comes out with their stamen. So no chance is there for cross pollination, because pollination is already over. Only little, means very less chance is there. So this is chesmogamy, means flowers. Why flowers go for self pollination? Because pollination takes place, male and female are present in the same flower, but flower opens after the pollination. So definitely the chesmogamous flower will be self pollination, go for self pollination. Okay, the last is the position of anther. Some species, in some species means the means female part is surrounded by the anthers. So definitely anther will fall on the same stigma. Here it's, you can see that stigma is like this, and anther is taller than the stigma. So definitely when the anther will burst, then pollen will fall on the same stigma, and it is bended like, means like the is bended. So definitely that pollen will fall on the same stigma, and the stigma is pollinated by the same flower anther. So no chance is there to pollinate by other pollen. So that is called position. So self pollination is also due to the position of anther. Some example, this is a tomato flower diagram. So example of this is tomato and brinjal. And in some leguminous crop is also like that. You can see here I have shown this one. See, stigma and anther, it is surrounded by like this. And now some example it is given green gram and black gram also, but I will show you if flower if possible I will show you the flower, that how it is covered by stigma or anther. Okay, stigma is surrounded by the anther, so self pollination is sure. So these are the 5 mechanism or concept which promote the self pollination. And I have skipped in this one what was there, it was yes, advantages and disadvantages. So it's your assignment or homework that before webinar you have to read about the advantages and disadvantages of self pollination crop. You have to search that what is the advantages and disadvantages of self pollination crop, and through this you have learned about the self pollination, that what is pollination and what is self pollination, types of pollination, what are the mechanisms that promote self pollination. These all things we have learned today, and these are the references from where I have took some points. So thank you students very much. If you have any doubt then you can ask, and please complete your assignment, means advantages and disadvantages, so that in webinar class when we will discuss, so I can ask you that what are the advantages and disadvantages of self-pollinated crops, or you can say that merit and demerit. It's very easy. If you will study, I will try to give you notes also. Okay, thank you very much.